To all my brothers out there. Hold your head up, brother, till the victory is won. To all my sisters in the struggle. Keep believing, sister, till the victory is won. Till that day. Till that day comes. Let us march on to victory. Till victory is won.
Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? Happy Black History Month. It is Michelle Bryant here at WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. You just had an opportunity to hear a rendition of Lift Every Voice and Sing as performed by Kurt Franklin's group. Jay, what do they list the name of the group? Just Kurt Franklin, Lift Every Voice and Sing. It is one of my favorite renditions of the song. The video, I love the video as much as I love the song. If you, I know somebody like Michelle, where you got that from, all you got to do is go to YouTube, put in Kurt Franklin, Lift Every Voice and Sing, and you'll be able to see the performance. It is absolutely one of my faves. Let me say good morning to the bros in the building. What's happening, Mr. Rideout? How you doing this morning, sir?
Yeah, wow. I'm doing pretty good.
Okay.
I'm doing pretty good.
We'll talk about it,
Yeah.
but okay, that's good. Mr. DeBow, how are you this morning, sir?
You pronounce it like DeBow?
Debo.
Oh, thank you. Much better. Much
Bell
better.
Biv DeBow.
Although, to be politically correct, you are exactly right. It is pronounced that way because it is French.
Because
so
much pride because it is French.
It is certainly French, but I'm good. I've got a lot of work to do.
We were owned by the French.
APB on Clark Kent. I don't know where you at, but you need to get to work.
Did you do that on the mic?
Yeah.
Somebody, out of order.
Everybody had knock on the door.
Did you do that on the mic?
Get him up.
I don't know where he at, but he needs to be at work. Oh, you out of order. See, this is why don't nobody mess with you. This right here, everybody see it. It's on full display. You that dude at the job that everybody see coming and be like, man, don't mess with that Mark. You did not say
it's terrible.
He needs to be at work. You raggedy. Ain't he raggedy?
Wait, no, but he said, but if you're listening, get here.
Yeah.
He raggedy. I cannot. Wow. You just suck. I hate Ivy K.
I may not even. I don't have my phone with me. I did the Michelle. It's somewhere, so he may have even reached out. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
So then
it has a name.
Okay,
it's I did the Michelle.
Yeah. For those of y'all texting me, I don't have my phone. So
hey. Don't include me in your little rant this morning.
But I'm good this morning. I'm good. We're gonna make it do what it do.
Yeah, don't add me to the list of people.
Thanks for asking.
You talking about this morning.
And thanks for asking.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. So
I'm back.
Yeah, he only got the camera on you. The lack of professionalism in this studio never ceases to amaze me. He was not talking. Hey, Dion, good morning. What's happening, Shell? Shelby.
Hey, hurry up, Clark.
Yeah. You're supposed to be I don't know where you at. But you're supposed to be here.
Cynthia said that was raggedy.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you. I'm glad other people see it. No, he's not funny, man. He raggedy. Yeah. Even though some of my family that listen to the show, they be like, Debo a trip.
Dude, that dude is.
I'm like, I would never want him to start talking about me. I'm like, yeah, because he don't know how to act.
You know, that's why I do what I do.
No, I tell him, I said, that's why Jermaine be coming for his throat. He's so ruthless. You have to kill Debo. You can't let him breathe. Yeah, you gotta
kill him and wake him back up and kill him again.
Hey, Jermaine, what's the commercial that's on right now? And the Pillsbury Boy is in it. The Pillsbury Doughboy.
It's an athlete's commercial. they in the grocery store. He throwing the football.
Oh yeah.
And he go, hee. I called you something when that commercial was on. I called you a bunch of stuff.
Oh, the first time I saw it, I died. I died.
I'm like, wow.
I never used that phrase,
but I in 20 years.
And then all of a sudden
he's back in the limelight.
It was so funny because I think it's like a Super Bowl commercial or something getting ready for the game, but it's an NFL player throwing the ball all through the grocery store. And as soon as I saw it, I never say the phrase that a lot of younger people use. Some older people use it too. But, to say something like kill me, it was so funny. Yeah. People just say dead. Right. Like I'm dead. And I've never said that before. And then when I saw that, I was like, oh, dead.
I mean, Debo, though, you should just go ahead and embrace that thing, man. Let it become one.
It's taken me 59 years to complete this physique.
Did you say to complete this physique?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That guy got 95% water.
He said to complete this.
95% water weight going on.
I'm going to just say, oh, okay. All right. Before I get into the show, let me back up for a second and just say, in relationship to Lift Every Voice and Sing, while there will be people who clearly know the backstory, the history, I'm not going to do all of it. There are young people every day, older people even every day, who we take for granted that they know certain things. They've been exposed to certain things. They understand the history or the backstory on certain things. And I have just learned to stop assuming, to stop, unfortunately, giving people way more credit than they possibly may need, because so many people have not had people that have drilled down on some of the basics in relationship to Black history. So Lift Every Voice and Sing, often referred to as the Black National Anthem, powerful hymn of faith and freedom, written as a poem by NAACP leader James Weldon Johnson in 1900 and set to music by his brother John Rosamond Johnson. Originally performed for President Abraham Lincoln's birthday, it became a rallying cry during the Civil Rights Movement. One of the things that is clear about the song is it captures the African-American experience of struggle, perseverance, and hope for freedom, becoming a symbol of Black identity, unity, resilience against oppression. In terms of the historical context, and when you think about the title of the song, Lift Every Voice and Sing, when we think about the immense and intense racism, segregation, discrimination that Black people faced, whether we're talking about slavery itself, coming out of the Reconstruction era, Black codes, Jim Crow, this idea that you are going to always push for a better situation for yourself, for your people, for our community is captured in those lyrics. And, the universal signifier, when Black folks hear that anywhere, most of them, it evokes an immense sense of pride. When you think about what has made the journey and has stayed with us from, slavery being ended in 1865 on paper, at least, through modern day, there are some things that have made, the journey along with us historically, and some things we've lost along the way. This song has had an enduring legacy, and I don't care where I am when I hear it sung. It just evokes a certain sense of pride. One of the things that is always frustrating to me is people who butcher the song, who, stand up to sing the song, don't know the song, and, don't take it seriously enough that somebody has invited you to perform and you get up here and you flub the words. I'm thinking about Smokey Robinson, who was at the White House. And I don't know if it just, dementia. I don't know what was going on with Smokey, but Smokey was tearing up them words to Lift Every Voice and Sing. I'm like, hey, bruh. What'd you say? Remix. I'm gonna need you to stop. in response to everything that went on in 2020 after the horrific murder of George Floyd, Lift Every Voice and Sing was sung at the Super Bowl in 2020, aiming to address systemic racism, support Black communities, with the league amplifying it as a song of healing and Black perseverance alongside its social justice initiatives. The performance became a yearly tradition at the Super Bowl. Alicia Keys, Lettucey had sung it. But, Cheryl Lee Ralph sung it. I was like, don't let her sing it no more. I ain't like that rendition. But, it's just one of those songs that if we have not learned that, committed that to memory, if we've not taught our children that, our grandchildren that, it would be funny. I could bust out in song around some of my friends, and for no reason, I could be humming it. Everybody would hear me humming it, and before you know it, we were in full blown choir mode. You would have thought it was the latest R&B joint, gospel song, hip hop song, and is the Black national anthem. So I'm going to just again implore people that if you have not taught your grandbabies that song, your grade school children that song, even if they got to hear the Kirk Franklin version, to be able to help them with the cadence and get into it, expose them so that they understand that that's a part of who we are, part of the struggle, something we created, and we need to embrace. Let me go to the phone line real quick. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle.
What's going on? How you doing this morning?
I'm blessed.
All right,
So
now.
blessed and grateful. Good morning, Debo, Clark Kent, Ride Out. What's happening, baby? I'm back. You understand? No, for real, though. I really got to have this moment because for 2 days I laid in my bed and I just was going through a whole lot. But I know there's a lot of people was worse off than me. And I'm so thankful that the people that I have in my life called me and helped me off that ledge because I was on it, for real. I was really on that ledge, and I'm so thankful that the people that care about me enough to call me to help me through what I was going through. So I had to call y'all this morning, let y'all know I'm back. I'm down with you. I love you. Ride Out. You know you my guy. Always will be. You understand? So get back on the bandwagon with me. Keep me up, man.
What is happening today?
And Mr. Debo, you know why I'm coming to see you tomorrow.
He's not in the studio, Angela.
But
he can hear you in the building.
Oh, okay. Well, he'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But, I really appreciate y'all. And, I know there's a God that is always by my side, in front of me, and back of me, everywhere around me. And I just got to keep that faith. I never lost it. I just lost my mind for a minute just because of these doctors. But I'm back, and I'm going to stay here as long as the Lord wake me up every morning. I'm going to be thankful and grateful.
I know that's right.
Because I know there's somebody out there worse off than I am.
Well, that's a good way to start the day. Glad you're feeling better. Stay strong, stay up. And I'm glad that there's a support network in place to keep you motivated. Jay looked like he got something on his mind. What
Angela.
Yes.
When you come up here tomorrow, make sure you poke Debo in his belly.
I will.
All right. That's it.
I know what you're talking about. I got
see, Angela, Debo just flew around the corner, Angela. he flew around the corner.
Okay, I see.
I ain't seen him move that fast ever.
Debo, I'll be to see you in the morning. You know what I'm talking about. You know I'm coming.
I don't want none, no.
Yes, you do. That's right.
And just so we clear the air, it's Girl Scout cookies.
Well, you don't want something I couldn't announce it over the radio, so that's why I did.
She's going to bring a list up here for us.
So y'all be ready to put y'all hands back down.
Y'all so
Ride Out.
dirty.
I
All
know
y'all
Ride Out
dirty.
got me. So ain't nobody else got me on Bebo. He ain't got no choice in the matter.
Okay, Angela, good talking with you.
All right, you guys have a great day. Love you all.
You too, Angela.
Yeah.
She hurry up. And did a little sound. And look, Dion listened. She texted him out Pillsbury.
Oh, Dion getting in?
Yeah, Dion, she hurry up. She texted ASAP. Wait, did she send the picture? Hold on. Oh, she dirty. She sent the picture.
Of who?
Let me see. Pillsbury Doughboy and somebody poking his belly.
As long as it ain't Angela.
Deanna took the time to go find the picture and send the picture.
You know, he did have one of those hats yesterday. So.
Yeah.
I ain't having no chef hat. I was pimping, man. I was pimping.
What kind of hat was it?
It was a hoo-hoo hat.
It was a hoo-hoo hat.
Bebo, the black doughboy, huh?
I'm telling you, just might as well go and patent that joint, bro. Patent it, embrace it, and
you
make
know,
some money off
just
of it.
a hoo-hoo boy.
Yeah,
Look,
like, so when you DJ,
you and Angela starting mess on the radio.
You said when you DJ, you just hoo-hoo, and the crowd will
Jermaine
respond.
started that.
All right, look, I gotta get ready to take a break, but before I do that, let me just say this real quick. When we gonna come back? When we come back, we're gonna take just a second because I had not done this part in relationship to a story that is playing out over in Philadelphia. I've mentioned it, talked about the exhibit, but I need to say the names: Austin, Paris, Hercules, Christopher Shields, Richmond, Giles, Oni Judge, Mal, and Joe. And I'll tell you why I said those names when we come back from the break. All right, family. Before I went to the break, I mentioned some names that I had negated to say previously when I talked about the ongoing situation in Philadelphia, in which the city is suing the Trump administration for the removal of an exhibit that highlighted the history of African Americans that were enslaved and working in the house of the first President George Washington. Um, and I just think that as we talk about this whole thing, again, helping our young people understand the backstory, understand that the president's residence and the White House was not always located in DC, that the house literally was wherever the individual who happened to be the president at the time lived. George Washington enslaved over 300 people at his Mount Vernon estate by 1799, with hundreds more working the land throughout his life. Enslaved individuals were essential to the daily operations of his homes in Virginia, Philadelphia, and New York. They served as cooks, housemaids, valets, people in the skilled trades. 90% of the people that walked that plantation, or his estate is what they called it, were enslaved Black people. Washington held 123 of these individuals in his own name. 153 were considered dower slaves from another estate which belonged to Martha's Washington's first husband. So she brought enslaved people with her, and he, brings enslaved people with him into their marriage. During his presidency in Philadelphia, 1790 to 1800, he brought enslaved people, and the folks that I mentioned were some of the people that he brought to work in what was deemed the executive mansion. One of the individuals, Ona Judge, who I mentioned, a personal maid to Martha Washington, escaped in 1796. Hercules was actually a renowned chef, and served in the Washington's, plantation estate / White House in Philadelphia. George Washington was the only president to explicitly order the freedom of his own enslaved people, in his will to take effect upon his wife's death. So when you got folks in Philadelphia, as the nation is preparing to celebrate 250 years of history next year, or is it this year? This year, under Trump, you got people thinking that they're going to tell the version of history that they want to. And there are judges now that are pushing back on what the Trump administration is doing. So going to say, a judge coming off the bench to say, I'm going to visit the site where this exhibit was located, and I'm going to visit the storage area where this exhibit better be stored. You are not to destroy it, tear it up, do anything to this exhibit. And Philadelphia is suing because they was like, we paid for that. Even though we had a partnership with the park system, that belongs to us. So I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned it, because I actually had somebody text me about it, and they didn't really fully appreciate all of the history. George Washington was a hot mess, and his raggedy wife. They were a hot mess when it came to enslaving people. And they're, one of the things that people talk about. Back in the day, when your teeth came out, you had wooden teeth put in. George Washington pulled the teeth out of the mouth of the enslaved people on a plantation / estate / White House. He pulled, or government house, as some of the terms have been referred to, even though he never technically lived in the government house. But he pulled out human beings' teeth to replace his own. So when people start doing that, this is not who we are, this is not what we are about as a nation. Yes, it is. But what we also are is an aspirational nation. We've talked about wanting to do better and be better. And then unfortunately, human beings get in the way and bring their own BS and garbage with them. But I wanted to make sure that you also take time to use current affairs and current issues to be able to help educate our children, ourselves, and our community about how things that happened in 1900, 1800, 1900, lift every voice and sing, 1799, what's going on with George Washington leading up to him becoming the president of the United States, how he and his wife, the revered Martha, who was a raggedy, slave owner, how these things are relevant today. And as we see, white people who are uncomfortable with the telling of the history of slavery, try to block these things out, or folks say we're post-racial, or, there are still no fallout from slavery. These are excellent opportunities to teach and educate people that, yes, there are. These things are still relevant today. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, Michelle, hang on. Let me take up speaker.
Okay.
I was just going to remind you, if you don't mind, if you could, you said you were going to talk about what do you think the Trump administration wants with these ballots that they're stealing, and if there's possibly any kind of way that they can go in and change those ballots, because I don't, besides them knowing who you are that voted against. And, Michelle, until hatred stops, we're going to keep on going through this until another man thinks that they're better than you. This is going to keep on going, because that's what this election was all about. I'm going to keep on saying it to the day. Homophobia, racism, sexism. That's how he won this vote. It's hate. People can talk about power and money and all that other stuff, but the bottom line is hate. And that's what this country is about. It's about hate, Michelle. Instead of loving your brother, loving your sister, that's what this is about. And until people realize that we all the same, I ain't no better than you, and you ain't no better than me. And if we work together, this will be a much better place to live in, instead of people trying to keep each other under somebody's thumb. We're going to keep on going through this. I'm sitting there watching MSN now, and they was talking to those people, those ladies and stuff they had in Congress yesterday, at the Senate yesterday, and how ICE is treating them, and how that one dude was bragging about how he shot this, on the text, Michelle, bragging about how he shot this lady 5 times and she got 7 holes, and
right,
pulling that disabled lady out of her car, bending her arms and stuff like that, Michelle. And if people can't look at that kind of stuff and have sympathy, the cruelty that's going on in this country, Michelle, we're going to keep on going through this stuff. It ain't going to end.
No, you're absolutely right. And let me just be clear. It's some sick people that work with ICE. I was watching Abby Phillips on CNN, and she had the guy, Kevin, I can't think of Kevin's last name, who is on the TV show with Mark Cuban, where people, pitch their businesses for money. I can't think of the name, Kevin's last name, and the name of that show.
Oh, man, I can't stand that dude. I can't stand none of them kept him on Abby Phillips' show, man.
Yeah, like her show is a circus to me. Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Kevin O'Leary. So he was on her show last week, and Angela Rye was on there, and he was talking about, all Americans need to get behind ICE agents. We need to, be respectful. We need to do this. We need to do that. And Angela Rye kept pushing him like, do you not see what some of these people are doing? And it was just this ignorant old white man, blank, advocacy for law enforcement. And she was like, but you sidestepping the abuses and the deaths, quite frankly. And this man did not get it. He did not get it. He honed in on, as rich as he is, that some money might have been, not might have been, but money was stolen in Minneapolis during this child care thing, and I want my money back. I want my money back. And I'm like, dude,
right. I thought if I watched that.
Yeah, and I was so disgusted, because I'm like, first of all, if you like most of these wealthy people in this country, you're not even paying your fair share. So your money ain't even on it. Like Tesla.
Somebody leaked his taxes, Michelle. I pay more than that in taxes. $750, Michelle.
Thank you. That's why you don't
want people to see that stuff.
That's what I'm saying. He said, I want my money back. You ain't got nothing on it, bruh. Because you've paid nothing in taxes. What's that boy, Elon Musk? You have nothing on it for the last 2 years. So
and I want people to know too, Michelle. He overstayed his visa too, so he got a lot of, excuse my French, damn nerve, talking about people because him and his brother. I sat up and watched the episode, the interview where his brother leaked it, and he looked at his brother like, "Shut up." They both of them overstayed their visa.
And Melania Trump's mom and them get, their citizenship off her back, and it's all rushed through. I mean, again, the rules don't apply to them; they just apply to everybody else.
It's all raggedy, Michelle. And the places that he's talking about, I want y'all black people to listen, especially y'all black people that think that this is your boy. Them 15 states that he's talking about are basically where black people voted at. He's calling us liars and thieves, cheaters. That's what he's saying about us, y'all. So, Michelle, if you don't mind,
I got you.
Thank you. I love you.
All right, thank you, bro. I'm gonna tell you, it's not gonna be a weighty answer because I don't think that it is something that most people are going to be shocked by. But because Donald Trump has held steadfast to the claim that the elections were stolen, even though his administration, Department of Justice, Adam Barr, no, that's not his name, William Barr, whatever his name is. Barr. They found that there was no rampant widespread fraud anywhere in the United States. Other, people that have looked at this, all these lawsuits that have been brought forward, Trump didn't win. I think he won one. He didn't win a single lawsuit in relationship to rampant voter fraud, people voting from the grave, as they tried to say, all these illegal immigrants that supposedly, have voted. But in terms of getting a hold of those ballots, because literally at this point, and I'm praying that the Georgia elected officials have copies of those ballots, or they have data connected to those ballots so that it's difficult to alter information. I think that this was more about a bullying, strong arm tactic, a muscle tactic, you intimidating people, from working at the polls. You have everybody's voter information in Fulton County now, and that this isn't about going back and trying to prove that the election was stolen. This is about, first of all these people appeasing the wishes of this old man in the White House who's stuck on stupid about an election that he did not win, and he's not man enough to accept that he didn't win it because he's a big fat baby. He can't accept, like adults, and we tell children every day, you lost the game. Be a good sport. Hold your head up. Shake the other opponent's hand. Do the right thing. We teach our children this every day, but we've elected somebody, and I mean we, metaphorically, not literally, but way too many people elected somebody who's a bad sport, who goes against all of the things that we teach our children not to be. That's what this dude is, on full display for the whole world. So I think that this was a form of intimidation for the 2026 midterm elections. Letting people see that our reach is wide and long, and we have the ability to come after you. And he has said that there are going to be prosecutions. He is going to go after people. That's why I worry about the sister and her mama. I don't think that they're completely out of harm's way legally yet with this administration that's in office right now. They were told Don Lemon had done nothing that he should have been arrested for, and they figured out a way to arrest him anyway. And the other sisters that protested at that event, even though Don Lemon was there in his capacity as a journalist. So this is some of it is just about mere intimidation and overreach, and people trying to appease this guy. when he has Tulsi Gabbard there, and he gets on the phone and he wants to give a pep talk to the FBI agents who came in and stormed the building and took all of these documents. He had no business interacting with them people. We used to have clear, or I won't say it's not always been that way. We've certainly had people that have misused their power in relationship to some of these agencies that they, appoint folks to lead. But there are other people that have been very definitive. Barack Obama, I'm not interfering with what the Department of Justice does. That's not my job. That's not my role. Yep, I help select who's going to be the Attorney General. I help select certain, leaders of these agencies, but I'm not interfering. I don't have anything to do with that. This man respects no boundaries. He does not believe that the rules were meant for him. And so the people around him just have to acquiesce. Well, I shouldn't say they have to, but the people around him acquiesce just to shut him up, because he a big damn whining, crying baby. But he's the epitome of masculinity for white men on the conservative side of the aisle. Again, ain't gonna bust a grape. Scared to go to war. 5 military deferments, so you don't have to serve. But then y'all come after Mark Kelly, an astronaut and a former military member. And he's the scum of the earth and the blah, blah, blah. But he served the country, though. See, people got what service looks like is twisted. That's why I say a whole bunch of these white folks is fake when it comes to patriotism and that damn flag waving. And, how dare you respect the nation's national anthem? You on some BS. Because if you really was patriotic, how you get behind somebody that took 5 military deferments simply because he didn't want to serve? How do you get behind somebody who makes fun of a man that was captured by the enemy during war and held for 5 years and suffered lifelong injuries? How you get behind that dude? How you get behind the dude that John Kelly tells you he made fun of disabled veterans and said, don't nobody want to see that? How you get behind that? How you get behind a dude that didn't want to get out the car because the rain was going to mess up his wig when he had to go see the soldiers that were laid to rest? How you get behind that? That's why I say y'all be fake jaking. Y'all be faking. A whole bunch of this flag waving Trump, MAGA, we the patriots, we love this country. You're lying. Because if you love the country, you want what's best for this country. You want what's best for you. You want what's best for select white people. You want what's best for, they got poor white people advocating for rich white people. Y'all out here cheering on Elon Musk again while you getting ready to try to get your tax payments together or get back your little $1,000 refund, whatever little, mini money you get back, while somebody who makes $5 billion don't pay the U.S. government a dime because of all of the loopholes and tax credits and everything that we get, only for this man to go through and cut tens of thousands of American jobs. And you weren't even naturalized. You're not even a naturalized citizen. You're not even born in this country. But you were given that kind of power. So do I have anybody else on the line? Let me take this caller. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing okay. It's always, I'm better after 7 o'clock.
What you got for us this morning?
I appreciate you in the early mornings and all the work you guys do.
It's appreciated. Thank you. What you got for us this morning?
This is all my opinions. I don't get sued.
Okay.
But I don't think it's, you're talking about George Washington there, Michelle, just as a transition. I don't think it's too far from George Washington's Mount Vernon to the north side of Milwaukee.
Mm.
You were talking yesterday about why the children of Milwaukee cannot read. It's only the black children. So let's be clear. Why cannot the children read? I asked that question on Easter Sunday of 1999. I said, come on, how hard can it be to teach children to read? And then I looked into it. It's a complex problem. Complex problems need complex solutions. And it took a long time to figure it out, Michelle. But it is not an accident You read the book More Than One Struggle, written in the 50s, I believe. It talks about how the Milwaukee Teachers Union worked hard to keep black men out of the organization, keep black men out of the classroom. That's 1950s. Has much changed since then? You know, this racism, I got a picture in my mind, a visual in my mind, and I'm thinking of a poker table. And everybody knows the story. When you sit down at a poker table, you're supposed to look around. You're supposed to see who is the patsy at the table. Who's the one that we're gonna take the money from? And I'll tell you, we're sitting at a poker table here in Milwaukee, Michelle. We've got the people of the North Side have one seat. Let me tell you who's on the other side of the table. You got the DOT. You got the Milwaukee Police Union. You got the Milwaukee Public School Union. You've got Marquette University. You've got every construction firm in the area. You've got the MMAC with their racist leadership. Racist leadership. And you know about, I think you mentioned the legislator who's running MMAC now. I think he's got a nice resume.
Dale Coanga.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
How about they got the M7s at the table. Sewer Pack is at the table, sitting out in western Waukesha, directing the north side of Milwaukee's future. You've got the DCD of our city hall, Department of City Development. That's kind of a misnomer. The mayor's office for the past 25 years, nothing. UW-Madison's at the table. We've got Summerfest and the Harbor Commission is at the table. We've got Miller Park and the board of directors over there. A lot of the MMAC guys are the directors over there. They're at the table. The Greater Milwaukee Area Chamber of Milwaukee Area Realtors, 5,000 realtors. You don't think they were involved in keeping the north side the north side? How about the white racist media, TV and radio? You have a situation where they purged all the black people from a radio station. It's sad. How about the Baird Center, where no black man from the north side of Milwaukee was allowed to work on the site? And common council members know about this. Comptroller of the county knows about this. The comptroller of the city knows about this. Says nothing. How about Miller Park, where we, the people, paid for Miller Park, but some people aren't allowed in? I wonder who that is. No Negro League game this year, so we'll see what happens with that. And then we get to the devil up in Madison. You got Robin Buss. And what is the first thing that happens when a majority of the Milwaukee Common Council is going to become African American? They take away home rule from the city of Milwaukee. We were a city before there was a state of Wisconsin.
That's right.
And now Common Council President Perez, who has, in my opinion, made a pact with the devil, has given up home rule. Why? Because we are on the verge of addressing everything I am talking about. Complex problems need complex solutions. You need a solution to address all of these factors. This is all racism, prejudice, bigotry, narrow-mindedness. And these are the entities that are keeping the north side of Milwaukee the north side of Milwaukee. And I'll tell you, when we had that convention in town, I'll tell you, that Republican convention was right at home in Milwaukee. They had to be amazed. How did you guys do it? And that's where we're at. And I can go into a white paper on each one of these, Michelle, and that's why it's taken me 26 years to figure it out. But you need to know the problem before you come up with a solution. Solution's right in front of us. Easy. We could fix this overnight with the votes. But when you have, and I'm not going to name names, but you talk about the importance of voting. We had a vote on April 16th of 2024. And everybody needs to know that's the most important vote in my mind in this city, because that's the vote for the Common Council president. And what happened that day when Alderwoman Pratt had the timidity to nominate Alderwoman Coggs for the presidency, Alderman Perez eventually got elected, and he put 4 black women in the doghouse along with Mark Chambers because they voted against him. And has anyone seen Alderman Perez since he became Common Council president? He's been the president for 46 months. The mayor has been in office for 48 months, 4 years. He's got his term in. When are we going to have a plan for the north side of Milwaukee? They got a plan to cut down trees and eliminate recreation centers on the north side while they're building skate parks in Alderman Perez's district. They're building dog parks downtown. They've got new roads going in, a harbor district. You can put your feet in the water down on the south side. What do we have on the north side? Not even a conversation. There's a steering and rules committee meeting that is scheduled every 3 weeks. They don't even meet anymore, Michelle. They don't even think about it. We had a flood and nobody met. Food stores are going down, nobody meets. Pharmacies, mental health, medical facilities, nothing. Transportation is zero.
Hang on one sec. So
Yep.
I'm just because I'm up against the clock.
I'm done.
No. Because look, and I think that it is important to hear and to have listeners here. Because when you run down the laundry list, and for folks that are regulars to the show, they know who you are. They know, the issues that you raise regarding the city. And, but sometimes people, they forget, they move on, they're hot about something for a second, and then, life gets in the way and they keep going. But all of these things continue to be a detriment and a problem. So I want to say, first of all, thank you. I appreciate when you call in and you keep the focus on the city, on what's happening. So thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it. The other thing, though, and I'm hoping that people will do, is as you listen to these things, because a number of people are texting me all the while that he's talking. And some people are saying that's right. Some people are like, wait, what? I didn't know. We have to be able to talk about our community in a way that's both educated and informed. And there are questions that have to be addressed and answered. And I'm going to tell you, nobody could have been hotter after the treatment that African-American members of the Common Council suffered when they nominated Malele Coggs to be the president of the Common Council than me. Just outright hot about it. But the other thing I have to just be honest about, many of those same legislators, I don't damn hear from. The sisters that got messed over, many of them, I don't even hear from them. They're not calling me. They're not sending no information, to say, hey, can I come on the show to talk about this is going on in the city or that is going on in the city? And this is the thing that people don't appreciate. I remember when somebody called me and they was talking about, they getting ready to get rid of another Black on-air anchor at the news station, and we got to do something. And I said, I ain't doing nothing. And they was like, and this somebody I love and respect who had put out this plea. And they was like, what's going on, Michelle? I said, because I don't see they Black behind in this community at all, except for when they working. I don't see them when it's just, people just kicking it, moving around, enjoying cultural events and activities. If you're not on the clock, I don't see you. And I understand that you give up a lot of your privacy when you work in the public arena. I get that. I know what it means to have a day where you like, man, I couldn't even run to the grocery store because I ran into 3 people like Michelle. And your hair ain't combed, your clothes ain't right. And you like, so I get that pressure. But I know they kick it. I know they be out. I know who they run with. I see them. And if I don't see them, people I know see them. But just showing up in our community, you don't see them. If they working, great. Have a good time, be on, blah, blah, blah. But when you just being you, I don't see you. So hell no, I'm not coming to your aid. And one of my frustrations, and I don't care, I say this all the time, you don't have to like me. You don't have to or didn't have to like Gerald Jones. You didn't have to like Keith Paris or any of the personalities that sit behind these mics. But there is a responsibility to educate people and to bring information forward. And when you don't even try to use this vehicle to do that, it just makes it so hard. And this ain't the only game in town. You can go anywhere. You can be on any show, but people think because they put out a press release, you've done your job. You put out a Facebook post, you've done your job. But when you're really trying to educate people, I watch the difference on a full court press. When they want something, I watch them go everywhere. Talk to anybody. They walk right into the belly of the beast when it's something they want. But in terms of making sure the community has the information that they need, I'm like, where y'all at, fam? Where y'all at? Don't nobody say, hey, can I come on once a quarter to talk about blah, blah, blah. We've never told anybody. I've never told anybody, no, you can't do that. But I've never had anybody ask, can we come do this? Can we have a standing, a dialogue? I'm on these committees. Can I come on and update the community on the work that my committee is doing and what they need to pay attention to? Unless you calling somebody out, nobody proactively calls you unless they want to tell you about, a little book bag giveaway or some little community thing they doing. But the day-to-day policy, the day-to-day stuff that actually is what's moving this this community and how we're being impacted. No, you don't come on the air for that. You come on the air to tell me about the cookout and the giveaway and the entrepreneur, whatever. But where is the day-to-day policy conversations from many of these Black elected officials, from many of the Common Council members, Black or white, from the County Board of Supervisors? Where they at? See, that was the thing I said about that U.S. Senate race. If you trying to make sure you serving people, you go everywhere. I think about the places that Lena Taylor went that people hated her. And she showed up. And she knew she was hated when she walked in the room. But I'll be damned if you're going to stop me from giving out this information. I'll be damned if you're going to stop me from showing up for my people. I'll be damned if you're going to stop me from educating people. And she walked into the belly of the beast day after day. In rooms frequently with people that look just like her that hated her. And whether they were right or wrong in their hate, it showed in the way they engaged her that they hated her. You think that stopped her from showing up? It did not. It did not. So a lot of this stuff goes both ways. The community got to feel connected and attached to these people to be able to advocate and help them. But we also have people, these people have to make us understand how this is impacting our real life in real time every day. Everybody listening to my show should be able to run down them organizations the way this man just did. And there are times when I've had to fact check him. Some stuff, I disagree with the presentation of it. Nobody's 100% right all the time. Y'all hear me make mistakes, misspeak, say the wrong name. Keisha texts me 100 times, like, not that name, Michelle, this name. So, but you get the gist of it, that this is somebody that's informed, that's trying to understand what's happening around us. So I respect that piece. And I will just simply say this. Somebody was texting me and they said, poverty can't be an excuse. This is when we talk about the kids not being able to read. Poverty can't be an excuse, neither can urban renewal planning. We couldn't have gotten Act 20 passed if it wasn't discovered that white children couldn't read either. The entire state has a reading issue. And I'm gonna say, while I respect what the person is sending me, the entire state don't look like Milwaukee for as long as it has been Milwaukee. The entire state got issues, but it didn't always look like this, at least not from what I understand. So, yes, we got a reading issue across the board, but we can't never, ever, ever not, I think highlight what they say. If you get a cold, black folks get pneumonia, we get the flu. You can't never discount that. Let me take a break. I got a guest coming in this morning. And then we will pick up after that. Be right back, y'all. All right, family, welcome back to the show. So, with this being Black History Month, I have been trying to incorporate something every day that has talked about the role and impact of African Americans in this country. A few days back, I mentioned, I think I may have started here with telling our community and reminding others who may have already known about them, a group of African Americans that were in the United States Navy, the Golden 13, and their story of how they were commissioned in 1944. They broke the racial barrier. There were 16 that were given the test to be in the Navy and commissioned officers. All 16 passed. For whatever reason, they didn't allow 3 to get in. No explanation, nothing. But even though these men actually scored higher than anyone who had ever taken these exams in history, even though they were given half the amount of time to study and no training, they had to teach themselves the material. So it is clear that African Americans have been a part of the United States military for as long as we've been a country, in some shape or form. We know that discrimination has been a factor, both during service, sometimes in admissions to service, and even after folks have left service. Right now, there are roughly 2.3 to 2.4 Black folks, African Americans, that are veterans in the United States. They represent anywhere from 12 to 14% of the total U.S. veteran population. And Black veterans make up 17% of all post 9/11 veterans. While we only comprise 12 to 13% of the U.S. population, Black service members are heavily represented in the Army, 21%, Marine Corps, 17%. But all of the studies that we've looked at and things that we've talked about, calls that we get to the station, indicate that Black veterans are twice as likely to live in poverty, face a 44% higher likelihood of unemployment, constitute 33% of the homeless veteran population. 59% of Black and African American veterans describe their transition back to civilian life as difficult. And despite challenges, 93% surveyed Black veterans, though, still felt pride in having served their country. Mm-hmm. And if that's would they have done it again, many of these folks say in a heartbeat. There have been organizations that have done a lot of work to try to be able to assist veterans when they come back after active duty, when they return to civilian life. And we are fortunate that we have an organization, Dryhootch, located right here in our community here in Milwaukee, but in the state of Wisconsin as well. And we have some friends, new and old, that have joined us today from the organization. So first of all, let me welcome these gentlemen to the studio. Hello, how y'all doing today?
Good.
Yeah. Drop the mic a little bit for not you, Mr. Okay. All right. So let me start with Mr. Otis Winstead.
Sure.
He was like, Miss Michelle. I'm like, nah, but you sure gonna get called Mr. up in this place.
Okay.
Mr. Winstead, we have had you on the show before.
Yeah.
And first of all, tell people a little bit about you, your military service, and how you come to be engaged with the Dryhootch organization.
Okay, yeah, my name's Otis Winstead. I'm an Army vet, Vietnam Air Army vet from 74 to 77. I got involved with Dryhootch about 14 years ago. And the important thing, just to speak about Dryhootch, is that the things that you talked about, Michelle, are the things that Dryhootch does in terms of transitioning men and women out of the military, in terms of helping them get employment, in terms of helping them get housing. We have a food pantry. We have a legal clinic, and there's a whole bunch of benefits that, and I'm a little excited because we're on the north side now. There's never been nothing like this.
When you say we're on the north side, you mean the actual office location?
Yeah, the actual location at 4830 West Fond du Lac Avenue.
That's right. New. That's recent.
Recent. We opened up in January.
Whoa. Yeah. Okay. So
what happened was the African American Culture Center.
Make sure you stay towards the mic.
The African American Culture Center opened up, and I was honored to have Michelle Buford, the director, come over and say, Otis, you should open an office up in our building, right? And we did that. And now that we've been open maybe a little bit over a month, but my main crux today, Michelle, is to talk about accessibility for Black veterans. Yes, we can offer, the housing and the education and all those other things, but I think there's a real gap when we talk about veterans getting out and not getting their benefits, which is really important, when we talk about compensation for the work or what they've done in the service. And there's always been that way. But now I've spoken, and I've been working with a Tabak law firm, for the last 14 years. And Jim's here to explain exactly what they do. I can only say that all the veterans that I've ever preferred to a Tabak law firm, they've never been disappointed. Okay. Never been disappointed. I think that's important for people to know.
And, and I just think that this is a interesting twist in the conversation, because when I originally knew, that we were going to have you guys on, but then you think about a lawyer from Tabak, and I'm like, how do the two go hand in hand? But in just a brief couple of, moments that I had an opportunity to talk to Jim before the show started, it made perfect sense. So Jim, let me bring you in, introduce yourself to folks, and tell them what your engagement is with Dryhootch.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. My name's Jim Brzezinski. I'm with Tabak Law. We've been working with veterans for 16 years now, helping them get their benefits. Our relationship with Dryhootch, it's been a couple of things. First off, it's an amazing organization. Otis has done crazy things with that group, and we support them. We've given them, some funds. In fact, I'm pretty sure we gave some money to get that new office opened up on the north side. Which I'm very proud of, and I'm so excited for, the community and for Dryhootch to be up there. It was super important to Otis. So, but on the helping veterans side, Otis has sent veterans that have struggled to get their VA benefits, primarily compensation, which is when somebody has a disability that one way or another is caused by their service. And, you can think of it as like workers' comp for people in the military, right? Like you get hurt in the military, now you've got a disability, you get, there's benefits out there. And one of the big things is a mental health benefit for like PTSD and stuff like that. So Otis has sent several people our way. I'm not even sure. I think you said maybe like 15 the other day.
The other day.
15 total. He told me the other day, but 15 total.
Okay.
And, we take pride in helping every vet that comes to us, making sure that they get a full analysis of everything they've got going on so that we know what kind of claims they can file. Many vets don't even know what to file or what they could possibly file for. So, and it's really awesome to hear that nobody's been disappointed. I love that. It makes me very happy.
So let me say this. When I was looking around for some information, following World War II, Black veterans were largely denied GI Bill benefits, such as home loans, education funds, preventing the generational wealth accumulation enjoyed by many white veterans. Discharge disparities. Black service members are more likely to receive less than honorable discharges, sometimes called bad paper, which erases access to VA benefits. Disability claim denials. A 2022 lawsuit highlighted that the VA has historically denied disability claims for Black veterans at higher rates than for white veterans. Historical violence post-service. Many Black veterans were targeted for racial violence, faced hostile, segregated environments upon returning from duty. And records show a long history of unequal treatment, including I won't mention that one. But in terms of litigation, legal challenges continue, such as lawsuits accusing the VA of persistent, decades-long bias against Black veterans, dating back to 1945. Ongoing advocacy. A number of groups have figured out, that these folks need assistance and help. And it didn't dawn on me. I know I watched a veteran whose disability kept being denied because his paperwork was in some building where there had been a huge fire, and many Black veterans lost their paperwork. And so the ability to establish, whether or not he in fact had been harmed or injured during active duty service, they just couldn't get this done. But it never dawned on me that people would have to go to an outside law firm to be able to help them secure these benefits. I thought you just keep calling and working within the system and the process. So when is the first time, Jim? And I just want to tell you, you have a fan. Someone said, not Jim. Well, you have fans too, Jim. But somebody said, Otis is such a cool guy. Met him at Mindful Mondays. Excellent services. So you have a fan listening.
Oh, thank you.
But Jim, like, what did you, because what area of law do you practice? And when, I don't know how long you've been with TABEC, but when you come in and you realize that this is a client base, does any of this strike you as odd at first?
Yes, very odd. So I have a very long story, but I'm sure we don't have a lot of time. So I'll try to get it down to 30 seconds or so. I worked at the VA prior to law school. I was doing the claims. I was making the decisions. Everyone would send in their paperwork, all their evidence. It would come to me and I'd say yes or no.
Okay.
And to be honest, I said yes a lot of times. Quality control sent it back and said no, say no. So that was very disheartening and part of the reason I couldn't do it anymore. So I left TABEC Law, went to law school, left the VA, went to law school. And while I was in law school, Marquette I went to had a volunteer legal clinic for students at the VA. So I still knew people at the VA. I thought it'd be kind of fun. So I went down and was volunteering throughout my time at Marquette. I was volunteering with the legal clinic. And the funny thing was vets would come in with all kinds of issues from, I'm hiding from the police. They're trying to, take me on a mental health hold, or even things like somebody cut down my wetlands in my lawn, anything but there were a lot coming in with benefit issues. And part of the thing about the legal clinic is we weren't allowed to help with veteran benefit issues because the legal clinic was being held in the Milwaukee Veteran Service Officer's office, and the Milwaukee Veteran Service Officer is accredited to do claims. So they didn't want us helping with claims. They wanted us to send them back to the Veteran Service Officer. So I'd say, okay, well, you got to go talk to the Veteran Service Officer. And they'd be like, well, I did talk to him and they didn't do anything. And now I'm coming to talk to you. And I was like, I'm sorry. That's just what we have to do. But it started happening enough that there was, I don't know how far in, but at one point I was just like, I used to work at the VA. I used to do these. If you want, after I'm done, come back. We could talk a little bit about your case. And then, I could maybe give you some advice. And don't tell the legal clinic I did that because I don't know. I mean, it was 15 years ago, but who knows? Anyways, I did that and the person was very happy. So then, of course, he tells a friend. So next time I got someone, it started being like every time I worked, there would be one or two people that were coming up just to have me look at their claim. And then at one point, someone said, well, can you just represent me? And I was like, I actually don't know that answer to that question. I don't know if that's a thing that lawyers can do. So I looked into it and sure enough, you could. Long story short, yes, I thought it was very odd. When I started as a lawyer in 2011, I already had 10 clients that were veterans just waiting for me to get accredited so I could take over their cases. And, it's just kind of been from there, just blown up because vets need help and there's not a lot of help out there.
There's a part of me that mentally struggles with the idea that folks are not being treated fairly right out the gate, that you give of yourself and your family serves with you. We need to acknowledge that for folks. And then when it's time to come home and there are things that you need to be whole again or to be as good as you can be, that there's somebody making, decisions that are like, no, that is so frustrating. But I've heard the stories. We've gotten calls right here at the radio station. So I know that these are real issues. And we have a caller. Let me see if this is germane to the conversation. and then we'll keep it moving. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Well, good morning. Thank you. Thank you for taking my call. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Mr. Rideout. Good morning, young man in the studio.
Morning.
Good morning, Milwaukee. Yes, indeed. This is the Tyrone W. speaking, right straight out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So, yes, thank you, sir. A couple of different questions, and I'm going to listen to you over the air, but being veteran myself, and then, of course, my dad, 21 years as well. I only did a few, but still, I understand the fact that the Pentagon, I don't know, I guess I'm hearing crickets from the Pentagon and Congress on helping the veterans with their homes and all this, homeless veterans after they've served. But I'll leave that there for right now as far as, what, because I know they're at the war table, strategizing and everything with, Taiwan and Greenland and, Iran and, others as well, Syria. Venezuela. So I know that there's many different departments in the Pentagon. So who does the veteran reach out to in the Pentagon as well as Congress? And then let me ask you this, and I'll listen to you. If there's dissension in the ranks with the International Military Court of Law, which means, the United States Supreme Court and all those doesn't, just like with, you can't handle the truth. You've effed with the wrong Marines greens, So even even though Hollywood spruced it up some, with Nichols and all that, but that's the truth though. The military court, if there's dissension in the ranks, starting from the top, including Mr. President, can the International Military Court bring court-martial orders to have him, whatever you want to call it, treason, mutiny, dissension in the ranks, a refusal to apply by, the military standards to be able to lead troops, because otherwise we're going to be vulnerable and sitting ducks in these submarines and stuff here with this idiot here, handing down commands. So I'll listen to you over the air. I don't want to suck the air out the show, but thank you. Thank you very much.
Appreciate the call. All right, we got to take a break. We're going to try to digest that. It's a lot. Yeah. Keep it to the benefits, but we'll figure it out. We'll be right back, y'all. Michelle Bryan, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Don't never disappoint. We'll be right back. All right, family, welcome back. So this morning, taking a little bit of time to talk with Mr. Otis Winstead from Dryhootch and talking about some of the challenges, particularly in the Black community, that veterans have faced trying to secure benefits, work their way through the VA system in relationship to either disabilities or claims that they are trying to file. And the fact that people know where to go or understand what services are available to them at Dryhootch, and the relationship that has been established with a local law firm who has been willing to take these cases on and to help folks out. I got a caller, but the question that was put out there were a couple of things that was said in that conversation. But the one thing I'm going to pull out from that question, and I think it is the thing that was most crystal clear for me, is where do people go? You know, because there are folks who realize there's an issue. You know, I have an injury. I've sustained, you know, health problems as a result of my time in service. And I went to the VA. I got a denial letter. Now what? You know, I can appeal the denial letter, but I get denied again. You know, folks are not sure where they can go. And I was saying during the break that many of us think about a car accident and, you know, I'm going to get a lawyer, you know, because we say it all the time, I'm going to get my lawyer. Well, most people don't have a lawyer or retainer. Most people are afraid of lawyers' fees. No disrespect, Jim, but some of y'all fees is a hot mess. And, you know, so people are like, I can't afford to just hire a lawyer outright. Not aware that there may be we'll look at the case. If we feel like you got a case, we'll go after for you and we get paid if we're victorious. So to that question that was posed by that listener, like I said, let's pull that piece out of it. Where do you go from here? Because how many times does the VA get to tell me no before I get a lawyer, or should I get a lawyer in the first place?
I am a lawyer, so I'm a little biased, but I've done this long enough now that, you know, I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to claims being filed. You know, I've seen people do it on their own. I've seen people get help. I've seen people that have previously had lawyers that they, you know, weren't happy with. So, you know, I don't want to tout my own law firm too much, but we do things differently than any other law firm that does what we do, which there aren't a lot to begin with. But what we do when a case comes our way is we get all of the information from the veteran. And, you know, typically what we used to do back when I helped Otis is, like he said, we used to say, okay, you got to go do this on your own. I'm not helping you until you get a denial, and then you could come back. And the reason we did that is because the VA doesn't allow us to charge fees on new claims. So in my mind, I was like, okay, there's free help out there. Go to your VSO. VSO is a veteran service officer. Every county has one. Different organizations have them, like DAV, VFW, kind of all the big guys have these accredited people that are veteran service officers. So what I used to say is go get your free help, see if they can do it. If you get denied, come back and then we'll look at it. Well, what was happening is they'd come back and the claim was just a mess. And not universally, there are some really good VSOs out there, but the claim would come back and things would be missed, wrong forms filed. I mean, things that would cost veterans literally, you know, $100,000 plus in back pay because it wasn't done right. And, you know, our process has evolved over time now, and we've become efficient enough where we take every case that comes our way and we do what we call, I mean, it's not a very creative name, but we call it our claim investigation team. So it comes in, the veteran signs on as a POA. We get their file for them. We do a huge analysis of the file, go through every single medical condition that they have, whether they've claimed it before, whether they've never claimed it, whether they even think it's related to the service. And we go through and find everything that should and could be filed, and then we file it for them. And
so is this a catch-all claim, or can you have multiple claims?
So it's multiple claims. We try to do it all at once to get it started at the same time, but you know, the VA will approve some, deny some, send some off for more development. So they end up taking different paths. But what's so different and important about why we do it that way is, there's a lot of benefits that the vets don't even know exist. They don't even know that they can get certain things connected to service. That
is there one like example that comes to mind that maybe you can
like
give
so
us?
here's a big one that a lot of people don't think of that we do. So let's say you've got conditions that are sort of related to old age and obesity. Let's talk about diabetes, heart disease, blood pressure, all that stuff. There's no evidence of that in the service because they're young people.
Right.
Maybe 30 years later, they end up getting these conditions. But what you can argue sometimes is that if you have a physical or mental health condition that's severe enough that it keeps you from being able to do exercise, or if it's mental health, maybe you eat to cope, or, you drink, or whatever it might be. So if you can link weight gain or obesity or just the stress of having these conditions to that later condition that's real, a lot of people are going to get anyways. But you can link those based on a secondary service connection. And, when you think about it, right? Like your body is not, each piece isn't independent, right? Like, so you hurt your back. Well, now you can't get out of bed. Other things are going to suffer. Your mental health is going to suffer most likely.
Right.
You're not going to be able to exercise. You're going to maybe be depressed and, like I said, eat or drink. So things that you wouldn't make the connection right away that they're related to the service, we can get connected and get these vets that are struggling the benefits they need.
You wanted to jump in.
I just wanted to say, like in my case, right? Sleep apnea he sent me to the doctor with sleep apnea, and I got it. But you wouldn't think about sleep apnea, the connection
being connected to service,
and that was connected to service, right. So that was.
So this was the other thing, and I know we got a caller, but I know people that secured attorneys to help them fight social security disability claims.
Mm-hmm.
But in some of those cases, it would seem like it would take forever.
Yeah.
And people might be successful when the claim, then there's some back pay element to it. But, can we see those long amount of time periods for folks that are trying to fight for disability claims connected to service?
We definitely can, and longer. So we do Social Security benefits too. So we've got, those are our two big practice areas. But yeah, it's the same thing because, there's red tape and bureaucracy in both organizations. And the VA can even be worse sometimes because the VA has these doctors on staff. Like, let's say you file a claim and you say, all right, I hurt my back in the service. Now it's 15 years later. I'm going to go and file my claim. I never filed before. And you go and they say, okay, well, I see something happen in the service. And we have this doctor who's going to take a look at you, get an opinion. It's very similar to personal injury or workers' comp. If you've ever had a claim, they do the same thing where the insurance company will hire a doctor to see you and give an opinion.
Right.
And of course, they're going to say, oh, no, the accident didn't cause that disability. Well, the VA has these doctors too. And again, not all of them are, bad or malicious, but if a VA doctor comes out and says, like in that last example, they might say, yeah, you had this disability or you had this injury in the service, but it's been 15 years and you haven't gotten any medical treatment for 15 years. So they can't be related, which is, they say that they do that all the time. Well, now you've got an opinion and the VA will dig in with that opinion. So now, we've got to do one of two things. We've got to either prove that doctor did not have all the information or misread the information or did something wrong, or we got to go out and get another doctor to look at the case and fight against that. Which is another issue with why, law firms, especially in the denial process, can be better. Like, the free help, they don't have the resources to get you a doctor's opinion. We get hundreds of doctors' opinions a year, for cases, maybe even more than that. Because sometimes, like I said, the VA's dug in And you can fight them going back and forth, just arguing about that opinion for 10 years. Or you can get your own opinion and take it up the line and maybe, get a decision in the next 6 months to a year to 2 years. And if we've got a good opinion, we generally will win that case.
Okay. Jay, still got a call? All right, let's get the caller in. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello? Caller? All right, let's see. Got another one? Okay. All right. So, look, there are folks then that are going to say a couple of things, and we want to make sure that they have the information that they need. First, I'm going to just say, for folks that are listening, so they'll say, well, okay, I got some things I think I might need the assistance of attorney with. Jim, do they reach out to you guys directly? Do they go through Dryhootch? How does this whole thing work?
I mean, I don't know if Otis cares, but I'd love them to hit Dryhootch first so we can track that it came from them,
Okay.
Because, and we talked about this the other day. I don't know that everyone who he's sent to us has told us that they came from Dryhootch. So I don't have a way to track, what they've sent, but, and Otis they've got this peer support stuff with Dryhootch that, while they're waiting for their benefits, Dryhootch can help keep them, off the ledge while they're waiting. And if you can speak to that more.
And do me a favor too, because there are some folks that are not familiar with the organization at all.
Right.
And I know you did like a 30,000-foot view of kind of services,
Right.
Or why you guys were established. But can you take a little bit, just a couple of moments, and just talk about like day-to-day services? If I'm a veteran, why would I come by a Dryhootch, or why would I be engaged with the program?
Yeah. So I just want to be really clear that a veteran, like on the street, or a veteran, in his home, where the case may be, right? If you come to Dryhootch, right, one of our objectives is for you to come in, have a cup of coffee, and let's just talk. See, because when we're talking, right, things begin to come out. So you got to start somewhere.
And even the term Dryhootch, isn't that like a term?
Yeah. Well, dry means all of our locations are alcohol and drug free.
Okay.
Hooch is a place that we lived in when we were in combat, when we were overseas.
Okay.
Hooch.
Okay.
A lot of people think that's a liquor.
I always wondered that.
Yeah. But the founder, Robert Curry, is out in Dosman now. He's kind of retired, but that's where the whole concept came from.
Okay.
A place to really just go and talk. And engage, drink a cup of coffee. We have a lot of free coffee, right? And maybe watch TV, play games. But through those conversations, it really begins to come out what's really going on. Why don't you have a job, right? What's going on with your benefits, right? And just specifically about benefits, well, I don't know. Nobody tried. I've never gotten any help. The help that the people that have tried to assist me just hasn't worked. They dropped the ball. Those are the conversations I hear constantly.
Okay.
Legal clinic, the same thing. What's going on? I got child support. All right. Well, we need to go talk to the judge downtown. We can do that. I can't get my license because of the suspension. We need to go talk to Judge Cervez, a friend of ours, right? And he'll clear that up for you. So there's a lot of things that can be done. You're homeless, right? We can go to CVI. There's a lot of places that you can go. You can go to the guest house. We can actually get you an apartment. Right. It's always about the veteran. We'll say the mentor and the mentee. I'm holding your hand through the process, the whole process. So you can come to me. You can come to my offices every day, right, and sit and talk, and we can figure out where you're at in the process now. Because people are out here and they get lost in the process, and the ball gets dropped and they lose their enthusiasm and they lose their hope.
So a lot of people, when they think vets, they think older brothers, older men and women. Who and are women at Dryhootch? Do women vets come through?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm just checking for the sisters. But they will have like a picture in their mind of what we think veterans look like. But are you seeing a range across age of folks that come through in terms of your demographics?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because I'm in a Vietnam era. I don't want to talk about my age, but I'm pretty old, right? But I have a younger generation.
Yeah, my daddy served in Vietnam.
So I have a younger generation.
He said, "Don't call me sir."
And the younger guys are starting to take over now. And that's what I want. I'm trying to push them to the front. Right. We're saying younger. We're saying 45 1 down.
Okay.
Okay. And we have some directors that are in that demographic, right? OEF and OIF veterans. So those are the post 9/11 veterans, right? Young guys, right?
Okay.
So when we talk about, when we talk about that particular demographic, they do everything different than the way we did things. We had one-on-one meetings and whatnot. Now we have an app that they can communicate over the app.
Oh, listen to the modernization going on. Okay.
But younger veterans start. This will be my last year.
Really?
It probably more like this will be my last year because it's time. It's time to let the younger guys do what they do. Hopefully that's where we're at today.
Okay. Well, let me see if I can get a caller in, and then we'll wrap. Make sure folks know how to get in touch with you guys. We got a caller. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hi, I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm a veteran, and I was injured in the line of duty while on active duty for training for the Army National Guard. And I have to use a walker, a cane, I'm on medication, but yet they will only rate my disability. I have sciatic nerve damage throughout my lower body, and they will only rate me at 10%. I'm going to make my comment, and then I'm going to hang up to listen. And they will only rate my injuries at 10%. And then of course, they do the mental health thing. And so although I have all these issues, can't climb stairs barely, I'm just wondering, is there anything Dryhootch can do to help me to get a higher rating? And I'm going to hang up and listen.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, A, for your service. And thank you, A, for this phone call. And hang up, and then we'll let them respond, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Look, now, see, I wasn't even expecting that. And I just asked about women, too. So that's so crazy. So what's your response to this caller?
I just want to say that that's why you come to Dryhootch.
Okay.
Because we're actually going to make that contact to the right people, which is Tabak Law Firm. All right.
Okay.
I mean, I can do an initial thing. Jim had me working a long time ago doing his initial claims for him, right? We can do that. But it's really nice to say, like this young lady here, to come to the office, right? Sit down, talk, have a cup of coffee, and actually call the law firm. The ball's rolling now, and I want him to speak to that.
Yeah, and I like the idea though that because you need the supportive services too.
Right.
And again, you are talking about stuff that I, Michelle, civilian, never served. I couldn't sit down and have these conversations.
Right.
So to be able to be around, people who have had like experiences or, that's important, but then also knowing where to go for the help. So Jim, let's bring you in when you hear this woman's call.
Well, it's hard to give very specific advice based on, just what they say, but, I could tell you in generalities what's out there that I would say to look into. First of all, like musculoskeletal injuries are rated very poorly. All they want to look at is how much motion you have. They don't care how bad it hurts to get that motion, but like they're measuring, how far you can bend whatever body part, and they take that angle measurement, and then there's a graph that says, okay, if you can go this many degrees, it's 10%. And sometimes, if there's a 0, but it's painful, no matter how painful, you only get a 10%. So my thought is that's probably what's happening. But there are some other things. Number one, I would, at a 10%, I would file for an increase with all of that. And, with the caveat that I haven't seen the entire claims file. So, but that's what I would do, because you're very likely to not jeopardize your 10%. Because that's the other thing. Sometimes vets will come and say, oh, it got so much worse. And then you go to the VA and the VA actually says, no, it got better. So you're getting 50% now? Oh, no, we're getting 20%. So, but if you've got a 10% because of the pain rules.
That was almost like a kick in my chest, but dude, okay.
God, it's the worst.
Okay.
I know. And, there's other things too. If you have to use a walker or a wheelchair, you can argue loss of use of your feet, your legs. There's these other things that you can go out and get. The other thing I would ask is, what other non-service connected medical conditions? Does she have anything that is related to a sedentary lifestyle, such as, high blood pressure, heart disease? And because I would imagine if you're in a walker, you're not getting around like you used to. And now she's mentioned mental health. So, the reality is, if that caused her to have a sedentary lifestyle, now she's got that, that's another route to go and get more benefits.
All right. So contact information for both
Yeah.
organizations.
Yeah,
Because we're up against the clock. So I want to make sure we get that out before we get out of here.
Yeah. So for Dryhootch, this is Otis again. We wanna our address is 4830 West Fond du Lac Avenue here on the north side. And the number that you can call, I'm gonna say this real slow for everybody out there. 414-336-6576. And just stop by and have a cup of coffee, and let's just sit down and talk about what's really going on, and maybe we can get something going in terms of benefits, or maybe there's some other services that we can help you with.
Jim, contact information.
Yeah, you can either email us at info@tabacattorneys.com. Tabac is spelled T like Tom, A B like boy, AK. Or you could call us at 414-351-4400. And one thing, I don't think we answered the question before about what it costs.
Yes.
So I know that's obviously a subject. There's no fee unless we win. You come in, you get your case analyzed. We find new claims. If we win new claims, there's no fee on those either. So only if there's an appeal that we file and win, and then it's a percentage of the back pay. So you get paid, then we get paid.
All right, folks. So that is the show for this morning. I want to thank these gentlemen both for coming in, Jim and Mr. Otis Winstead. I know that there are people that are veterans that listen, and they have most likely benefited greatly from the conversation. And I love, Mr. Winstead, that you connect us to Black History Month with this all the time. So it's appreciated. All right, family. That's the show for the day. I got to get out the way. Let me thank the brothers in the studio, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.